We absolutely love what we do. If you like what we do, why not buy us a coffee? Just follow the link in the description below.
Trimble knows that for the work we all depend on, where speed counts, there's no room for mistakes. Every turn matters. Trimble is the technology company that connects your physical and digital worlds across industries like construction, transportation, geospatial, and beyond, so you can get hard work done faster than you ever thought possible. You can check them out at Trimble.com. With Trimble on your team, you're in command of connected solutions to overcome unknowns and keep work flowing. See what's coming. Take intelligent action. Stay on time and budget, time after time. With confidence at every step, every decision, every turn. Because work doesn't move in a straight line. Keeping it going requires the agility to adjust. In the field, at the office, on the road, everywhere. When you're ready to turn data into decisions, turn deadlines into finish lines, and turn possibilities into profits, it's time to turn to Trimble. Trimble. Confidence at every turn.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Imagine if today was the day your idea changed someone's life. Imagine if you could help someone pay for college, help your community build a new playground, or help a child make it to that dream competition. With GoFundMe, it's all possible. GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 190 million people. Every week, ordinary people meet their goals and do extraordinary things. Your ideas matter. GoFundMe isn't just for emergencies. Want to raise money for your kid's soccer team or raise funds for a small business, a creative project, or event? GoFundMe helps you turn ideas into reality. And help adds up. Fundraisers you start for someone else raise up to 5 times more. So think right now, who could use your help? Change rarely comes from waiting. It comes from someone deciding, today I'll start. Don't wait for someone else to bring change. Today, start your fundraiser in just minutes at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com to start your fundraiser. GoFundMe.com. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.
Give me a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then we'll start.
Manfred Mann. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Four, three, two,
And then the old
one.
harmonica. The old Paul Jones.
What a way to start. Welcome all to There's Only One Terry Curran. This is the third in our series. Today we are joined by the maverick, the wonderful, the legend. That is Barry Silkman, player and agent and a raconteur. Silker, you're everything and more. You're a legend, mate. We love you. How are you?
Thanks, Gabs. I'm good, mate. How are you? And TC, all good, I hope.
Brilliant, and it's an honour to have Baz on our podcast, Gabby. It's fantastic. Always looking at his career because we played at the same time, and it's fascinating how we had similar tastes in things. And I've just said just off air there about greyhounds. I found it fascinating. You know, people used to say to me, and I finished up buying a greyhound with Jack Charlton. We may go into that in a little bit because there's a funny story to that with Mel Sterling.
Let's start with greyhounds. So you crack on.
Start with greyhounds.
Let's start with greyhounds.
Well, what I would like to ask Baz, because you know what got him into greyhounds. What was it at a young age? Because I used to watch cars when I was about 10-year-old, watching people's cars and then going on to dog track itself. But then Barry became a trainer after football, and he had such dogs as Arthur Waite, Carlsberg Champ.
Yeah.
When Hackney's not here anymore in Catford.
Yeah.
You know,
some big races
fantastic.
now.
And the Savarowicz at
one of the big races at
Manchester.
Bellevue. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I won literally everything except the Derby.
Fantastic. I mean, you started to become really big, and then all of a sudden you went into the agent side of it, didn't you? Because
there was no money.
I was
There was
following.
no money, TC. There was no money.
No, there weren't.
I had owners. I had one owner I had a dog in a competition. I hadn't had this dog long, and I put a lot of weight on him. Put about 4 kilos on him, which for a greyhound,
No.
a lot of weight. Yeah.
You would have been trained about it, surely.
No. I put it on muscle. He was so underweight when I got him. And I said to the owner, this dog could win the competition. And he said to me, if we win this competition, you've got 10 grand. I hadn't seen 10 grand, TC. Yeah. And the dog won the competition. I went on a Sunday morning, took the dogs for a walk the day after we won the final. A couple of other people turned up and said, we're going to take you and treat you to breakfast. I went to breakfast. When I come back, the girl said to me, the owners turned up and took the dog away. Never see him again. Didn't even get the kennel bill for that month. And apparently he'd won from the bookmakers at Walthamstow that night. John Power, John Jenkins, his real name was John and Tom Power, and Gordon Hutchinson, he'd won 38 grand in betting back then. The race was worth 10 grand. I got nothing, didn't even get the kennel bill. And that's what happened all the time. I had 1 or 2 good owners, and the rest of them were not so good, mate, to say the least.
I know it's fascinating, or it's amazing that, even in football itself, you always think you're doing somebody a favour, and they like turn against you, don't they? You think
absolutely.
You don't let them down; it's that they let you down.
Yeah.
But going back,
absolutely.
I'll tell you a funny story with Jack, and I didn't know Jack liked to bet. We played cards, but we only play for a little bit of money with Jack. At the other clubs, we would play for big money with players. But Jack said, "TC, do you want to buy a greyhound? I can get one from Ireland." And I said to him, "Yeah, why not?" So the dog was called Spiral Please, and we had it trained with Harry Crapper. Can you remember Harry Crapper?
Yeah, I remember Harry, yeah.
Anyway, me, Andy McCulloch, and Jack bought this dog. Anyway, Harry said this dog would win this night. Anyway, I backed it. I had 500 quid on it, and it drifted right out. Anyway, Harry said to me, the reason why it got beat, it got lame, but they backed it on the Tuesday. Sorry, they backed it on the Tuesday. We were playing. It came in from 6 to 3 to 1 and absolutely blew him. And then he phoned me up. He said to me, "This dog were lame." And I said, "Well, how can it get beat on Friday but win it on the Tuesday?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He said, "Well, can you get me some infrared on it?" I said, "That's not a problem, Harry." So I goes to pick the dog up, takes it back to the ground to John Honey, who was our physio. Mel still is only a young lad. Well, I'm 23, he's 18, Mel, 17, 18.
Yeah.
So I said to John, can I get any chance of getting any infrared on this? He said, "Well, I've just sorted Mel out." I said, "Fuck, Mel, this is running again on Friday." I said, "Fuck, Mel, this is running Friday." I said, "We ain't got a game until Saturday." I said, "We've got plenty of time to get in for it. It's only for today. We've got 3 or 4 days left." So I go there and I said, "Hey, you, still, get off that fucking table and get out. I need to put this dog on." And Mel tells it in his book. But that was the true story of it. I'd gone in there and said to Mel, so we could have some infrared on it. And anyway, it got beat again.
Normally the way. Always the way, mate. Yeah.
Could you imagine that today, boys?
Imagine turning up with a ground at one of these training grounds. Yeah. Imagine a player turning up with a ground at the physio. I mean, infrared's long gone. They've gone way past that now. But imagine saying, "Can you treat this dog for me?" He said, "Look, you got a choice. You turn up at West Ham, you either treat Paquetá or the dog. Well, we better treat the dog."
You think about things, what happened in our time in football, and you see how it's changed. It's but you wouldn't believe it, would you?
It's not recognisable, mate.
You wouldn't.
And I'll tell you what, the big thing that's gone now, it's really disappeared. It will never come back. Is the camaraderie and the friendship between players. We'd be on a coach, TC. You'd have somebody telling jokes, little group playing cards, a little group having a quiz. You'd all be everyone talking to each other. You'd get off. You didn't have to huddle on the pitch. You'd done all that all the way to the ground, on the training ground. after training, on the coach on the way. You did all that. Now they get off the coach. No one spoke to each other. They've all got headsets on, listening to music, playing their Game Boys. There is no camaraderie at all in football clubs anymore. We used to all go out and mix together. We'd go to, those that drunk, go to a pub, go to a nightclub after the game, meet up for meals. You do things together. You wouldn't live in each other's pockets, but we would do a lot of things together. Now, once them players have gone to the training ground, they don't see each other. They arrive on a coach, they haven't even had a conversation. Then they've all got the liberty to put their arm around each other on the halfway line and talk about how we're going to win the game. Well, if you were all like that and close like that, you wouldn't have to do that. You'd have been doing that on the coach on the way to the game.
Yeah, I mean, people say to me, I love football more than anybody could have loved it, and I'm not saying I loved it more than anybody else.
No, but you loved it as much as anyone, as much as anybody could have.
I'd always got a ball. I'd always got a ball at my feet as a young kid. I always knew that if I didn't be a footballer, I wanted to be a jockey. The problem was I grew when I left school. I was tiny at school.
Yeah,
but I always knew that something, I'd got a big chance of being a footballer because from a young lad in school, I played in all 4 teams: first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know I got something. It was just giving that break, and I got that break with Morris. But when I look at football, people say, "Do you miss it?" No, I don't miss it. I'd love to play on the pitches, not get kicked now.
Oh God, yeah.
I would love that because I did get
without the mud and the sand everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there weren't the worst of pitch in Derby County, I must admit, and I played at Derby.
It's not their pitch.
The camaraderie between the players in the dressing room and the piss taking. You had to be brave, and you had to be quick to answer some back. Yeah, because they would just crucify you. But I found that same with the dogs, because I can remember all the big gamblers when I was a young lad going on there, even when I was footballing, going in, the Manchester, Bellevue, Manchester, Sheffield, Kinsley was just a flapping track, and the other flapping tracks, and the characters, the gamblers and the bookmakers.
Oh,
I can
absolutely.
Remember, there used to be $13 on nearly all tracks when I used to go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I can remember Smiler being at Kinsley, and every time I went on, footballers here, we're going to get somebody tonight, And I would set the betting off sometimes. If I went in and backed the dog up, everybody thought, well, he must know some information there. You know what it's like, don't you? When you meet public eye. Mm. But even that's gone. Even all the characters out at gambling's gone.
Oh, it's gone. I remember at Walthamstow, we had one guy called One Arm Lou, because he had one arm. Right? So he was One Arm Lou. We had another guy that, because he always used to get in before everyone else, we called him Davy Crockett, right? So he was Davy Crockett. We had a guy, Big Mac Duff. He used to be a film extra. And funny story, TC. This is a funny story, mate. So he's in a film where he's playing a Roman. So he's got all the Roman gear on, and he's at the back. And they're talking to, Yul Brynner, whoever it was at the front. And he's one of the Romans at the back with the guards. So he took us to see the film. And he's telling us what we've got to watch out for, because he had a tip for a dog in the second race at Walthamstow that night, yeah? And what he's done, of course, in the Roman days, there's no watches. No one had a watch or watched it and exist. But what he's done, he knows he's got to get away from the film, and he's looked at his watch like that. Now, it's still in the film because no one has noticed that he's done it. And we've all gone there. There's about 12 of us, and he's gone, it's coming up. And he's there with his thing like that, and he's changed his hand to hold the shield, the sword or whatever, and across his shield, and he's gone, and we've all pissed ourselves. And I mean, that things like that, them characters, they're not here today.
No.
Even the footballers. I remember playing at Man City. And we're playing, I think it was Leicester, Frank Worthington.
Oh, big Frank, what a character.
And we're winning 4-0. And I'm on the halfway line. Next thing I know, my shorts and my slip those to wear, he's come from behind me,
Pulled them down.
pulled them down, and they've got stuck in my studs. And I've hit the panic button, and all round the crowd, I can hear them chanting, "Silkman's got a small one." Silkman. And the referee's pissing himself, the players are pissing themselves, and I'm on the floor trying to get my shorts up. Couldn't happen today, TC. He'd get a red card.
No.
He'd get a red card. He'd be gone.
I went to Sweden at 79 when I was up at Sheffield Wednesday, just for a 6-week period. I think it was to get Jack a bit of money and give me a little bit of extra money. And Frank, I played for a team called Orvida Bay, and Frank played with a team called No Shopping.
Yeah, I know No Shopping, yeah.
We used to say no shopping.
No,
you know.
yeah.
Anyway, I met Frank. We were staying in the same hotel. We were playing in this city, but they were playing a bit further up.
Yeah.
And they stayed, and then they were not flying up, but driving by coach for an hour. Then, up to the stadium where they were playing at. Anyway, for the character Frank was back then,
it was brilliant, mate.
So I finished up. I mean, I spent 3 days with Frank. It was unbelievable.
Oh, it was brilliant.
The things we did together. Listen.
Can we talk about
we will get on today. We will get on today.
Yeah, Stan Bowles was very similar.
Yeah.
All them people, unbelievable. Rodney Marsh before that, unbelievable characters. It's now, football's now characterless.
Yeah.
And there is, for the want of a better word, just not even characters. There is no personalities in the game. I think that it's just gone. Everybody's like a robot. It's no laughs. There's no jokes. There's no everything. And players now, they when they're going to dive on the floor. When they're going to roll in agony.
Yeah.
Let them go and get tackled by Terry Urlock.
Yeah.
Players today wouldn't even get off the floor if Terry.
I know what was that like because I've been tackled a few times by Terry Urlock, so I know what it's like. And I was talking with Uddy about this, and I don't want to knock Messi because I can watch them all day, Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I can watch them all day.
Absolutely.
But would they get the goals they were getting today if they had to take the brutal stick that Bessie and Pele and Maradona were taking?
Not a chance.
You wouldn't know because they'd been brought up in that era.
The era, yes. That's the thing.
If you could put them now, how they are now to then, I would have said no. But growing up in that era, if they had that ability, then probably yes, because they'd have grown up in that era. But players today, they don't even understand what tackling is. Norman Hunter, if he ever got the ball first before you, it's a miracle. Terry Yorath, good luck when he fucking come at you. Terry Yorath, it was brutal. And you knew it was going to happen. It's a question whether you could jump out the way or not.
You would have played against the late, great Tommy Smith.
Oh, good luck.
I played with him. I played against him up at Liverpool when I was playing for Doncaster in the FA Cup. But Toshak bought him for Swansea. And I once nutmegged him. And you know what they were like, in his scout-looking accent. He said, "I'll snap you in fucking two if you ever do that to me again." And I just started laughing. Next time, I finished up in fucking 8. Unbelievable.
Tommy Smith was a nightmare. He done me once. The ball was on one side of the pitch. Next thing I'm on the floor. Tommy Smith went, "Silks, get up, I only tapped you." Yeah. And I'll tell you who was worse than him. A really good friend of mine was worse than him.
Go on.
Charlie, Graham Souness.
Oh.
Charlie was worse, mate. But Charlie was a fantastic footballer. I love Charlie. He's one of my friends. But was he a hard man? Oh, my God. And every tackle, his studs were up in the air. He wouldn't last any game. He'd be sent off every game he played. But what a player.
Two things I can honestly say about him. And he should have been, to us, to our generation, he still would be. But if he had got that little bit more pace and weren't that, and people say if you take that out of a player, it wouldn't be him. But I didn't think he needed to do it sooner because he got everything, hadn't he?
Oh, he got every. Listen, Bobby Moore had no pace. He was brilliant. Bobby Charlton had no pace. Glenn Hoddle had no pace. What a player!
No, but what I'm trying to say is how these superstars get the superstar names and everything. Souness had got all that, but he'd be one of them. What would
I think Graham Souness, because he had that real nasty streak.
Yes.
He never got the adulation he deserved for how good a player he was.
Well, what he got that dirtiness about him.
Talked about him. And I love him. I love him to pieces. He was a brilliant player.
There weren't any better midfield player in the world than Souness. Technically, he got every mortal thing.
I remember going up to Anfield for a game, and he was playing. Obviously, there was him. Kevin Keegan was up front with Ian Rush. And I remember before the game.
No, Rush can't have been there when Keegan was.
John Koshak was up front with him. Yeah. Koshak was up front. I think Callahan was playing out one side. Can't think who was playing. Charlie was in midfield. Mark Lawrenson was.
Well, is either the
right. Phil Neal was right. Phil Neal was right back.
What did they call the little England coach?
Sammy Lee.
Sammy Lee may have played.
Yeah, I mean, I remember right back was Phil Neal. Yeah. I remember that. And we was in the dressing room before the game, and we all sit down. Obviously, there's only 12 years in. And TV's gone, right, this is the team that started. And he's looked at us and he said, on paper, they are miles better than us, make no mistake. So, but lucky enough today, we're not playing on paper. We're playing on grass. And we went out and, to be fair, we drew 0-0. It was a blinding game and we drew 0-0. But it was great.
Still, characters like that, will come out with statements like that. And that, I mean, pressure, I can honestly say this, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. I never, ever believed in pressure.
Me neither. Me neither. I loved playing football.
I had the biggest bet in my life. It won 8 lengths. I got in with this kid at Paul Cole's stable. And the biggest one what got away from me was Genevis. I bet it first twice, and I put him 100 quid on it. I had 500 quid on it. I put him 100 quid on it twice. And he said to me, I said to him, what do you want me to do? He said, keep putting it back in it, because this horse will win the derby. It lost its first 2 races, and then it never lost another race from then on. And I lent my mate's car, to go down at Epsom. They were standing at Bucky's in the middle of,
on the ground, on the
Leicester Piggett's first race back in Derby. So they got to Chesterfield. Obviously, I'm living over the other side of Barnsley back then. Came a Bobby car. They got to Chesterfield. Come back and they said, "Oh, we're not going." How do you mean you're not going? So they knocked me up fucking twice. Knocked me up at 3 o'clock, right? Come back at 4 o'clock. Anyway, I finished up going back down with them. Called to Holding Wall, got a few quid out. Start taking bets, £1 each way, £5 each way, £2.50 each way, all back in Leicester. 66 to 1, back bet into 33 to 1. My 2 mates, 2 right thieves, saying, what you doing? What you doing? We can't pay out if this wins, So anyway, I gets off at the stand, goes into car, has an hour's kip, wakes up at 5:30 after the race.
No.
Genesis run. But the biggest bet I had, Phil, this is a true story. I kept all my bets. People what gambled would have been fascinated. They'd have said, "You fucking idiot." But, people would have looked at that and said, I was lucky. I got all these betting slips on football, back in football in our days, But I never backed I never backed against his own team. I backed my own team.
Yeah.
And
I never had a bet in football.
The only time I ever got mad with losing anything was my mate had come from me and says, "Oh, we're not going at Dogs. We're going to Italy. We're going to have an Italian meal." Picked up £5,000 here. Just when he used to be finished at 20 to 5. Right? Swansea are playing West Brom. West Brom were 2-0 up. So I says to my mate Wayne, and he's liable to be listening to this, Wayne, says to my mate, I said, I'm just going to get a bath. I said, put kettle up, make us a cup of tea. And we're not good at dogs, we're good at Italian, we'll have Italian tonight. Comes into the bathroom, he saw it's 2-1. I guess out of fucking bath, it's 2-2. They faced the sub on. It's only 10 minutes to go, right? And Swansea beat West Brom 3-2. I got all the betting slips, and and that's the only time never bothers me losing. Never ever bothered me losing one little bit, and I'll never forget this. I used to bet with Willie Mills, and I got into this wooden shop in Featherstone, not far where I live. People always ask me why would it 33,000? I drew everything out at a bank, every penny I got in the bank, and I drew £33,000. Went in there, and I could get any bet on back then, anywhere, because the big gamblers, when they went into the betting shop, I was messing about with one of the birds in there, right? And she used to say to me, when the big gamblers come in, there's a button and it goes straight through to the main officers.
Right.
And you could get the bets on it. You weren't a problem. Anyway, they also called Magic Ring, Magic Circle. Paul Cole trained it. Alan Munro rode it. Right.
Alan Munro.
It won at 4-6. It won at Newmarket. The slightest of touches you will ever see in your life, it won 8 lengths. I'll never forget the girl behind counter.
Trimble knows that in the industries we all depend on, where speed counts, every turn matters. Trimble is the technology company that connects your physical and digital worlds, so you can see what's coming, take intelligent action, and get hard work done faster than you ever thought possible. Check them out at Trimble.com. Ready to turn data points into decision points? Turn deadlines into finish lines? And turn possibilities into profits? Then turn to Trimble. Trimble. Confidence at every turn.
This message comes from Ethos. Discover the modern way to get life insurance all online. Protect your family's future against the unexpected in minutes, not months. With Ethos, you could get up to $3 million in coverage without a medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Some policies are as low as $2 a day. Billed monthly. Get your free quote at ethos.com/audio. That's ETHOS.com/audio. Application times may vary. Rates may vary.
But nowadays, it's first past post and...
Yeah, you get first past the post, yeah.
Yeah, and back then, it was just racing rules.
Yeah.
This won 8 lengths and got disqualified. She fainted. She fell off a chair and fainted.
No.
Yes, that's the truth. I'm going to put all that. We're going to go into my book. And I ripped all the betting slips up, But people say to me, I've never wanted to kick a cat, because I never had any cats, but I've never wanted to do it to a woman. It just did not bother me. Anything.
Yeah.
Just
same,
so way back. It's a prime example. When I was at Everton, I remember Andy Gray saying, we're travelling down to Old Trafford, playing Man United. What is it, the year we won that league, or year before that, it may have been. We drew 1 apiece at Old Trafford. And I remember Andy saying, if we get a draw today, it'll be a good result. And I get it. I really get it. Because I always believe, let's win.
Yeah.
You can't always win, Baz, you know that.
Exactly.
But that's how I felt. I felt as though we could beat anybody. And I said, get a result. We're going out to beat them. But that's how I was. I would watch it racing and walk in at 2:45.
Yeah.
Another prime example, I remember playing at Hull for Huddersfield. You can remember Pebbles winning Guinness?
Yes, very well, yeah.
Right. Anyway, I backed this horse, Pebbles, and Mick Buxton, who was manager of Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Right? My Huddersfield mates, right? I used to get them tickets. And I'm sat on board. There was no televisions back then in them days, like it is. There were televisions, but not like
it is now, yeah.
On buses and everything. Anyway, we just commentary on radio. So they're coming past and knocks on window. What are you doing? I said, I'm listening to this race. So Fat Man, Tony Kelly. And he says to me, can I come and listen to the race? I said, not a problem. Come on, honey. Anyway, 5 minutes before, not 5 minutes before off, they're 5 minutes late. So it's like now 20-3 when race is on. You know, I was never one for going on to pitch, especially I would never be on pitch at my players' lounge watching racing or whatever. You know, back then. So on a Saturday afternoon, you won't get it in midweek and what have you. Mickey Buxton comes on. He said, "What time do you think you got?" This was at 2:45. "What time do you think we got a game?" I said, "Mick, don't worry about it. We'll beat these all." You know, and we beat them 1-0. But when you think about the things we did back then, it's incredible, isn't it? Just incredible.
Such the Stanley Bowls there. Boys, you've both recorded Singing the Blues. Silky, you did for QPR.
Yeah, with Mickey Most. Yeah, it was so fun. We went in the studio. There was Simon Stainrod, who found out I was talking to early on today. There was Tony Curry, Glenn Roder. We all went in the studio and Mickey said, right, they all sing it together. So we're all singing. There's about 10 of us. And Mickey's gone, "Oh, someone's out of tune." He said to one of the lads, "You drop out." Then he's got one of the other lads. All of a sudden, there was only me left. And he went, "Well, Silky's the only one singing in tune." He said, "So what we'll do, we'll record him and we'll just put his voice on over and over and over. So it sounds like there's about 15 of you." So that's what we did. It was a funny day in St John's Wood. Mickey Most, God rest his soul.
It's amazing what they can do in the studio, isn't it?
Now they can do anything now.
When they asked me to make that record, I said, "I can't sing." And I finished up making the record. I mean, what I did do, I can remember they wanted me to sing the Wednesday Win United Lose, and back then, back in our day, they were always fighting on heaps at weekends, weren't they? You know.
Oh God, yeah.
And I said, "No, I'll not do that." But I finished up doing the song. But when you think about it, and again, I didn't get a penny out of it. All other people made all money out of it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, which is a true story when I think about it. They said to me, "We can get this on Top of the Pops, you know." And I said to him, "How do you mean get on Top of the Pops?" So this is how we go about it. We're going to get busloads of girls to go down. They would pay for them all to Leicester. That's because they used to buy records then in those shops in Leicester, in Newcastle, Manchester. That's what they were going to do. I said, I went into it like that. You know what I mean? I said, "No, I'm not." But I think it sold about 3.5 copies just in Sheffield itself. So they made the bit of money what were made on it. Yeah. But it just shows you what they can do and how they do it.
Who remembers who sang the original of Singing the Blues? Go on.
Mitchell, isn't it? What they call him? Mitchell. No, the American guy.
Guy Mitchell.
Guy Mitchell. Guy Mitchell.
Can anybody tell me?
Never felt more like singing the blues.
Because I never thought that I'd ever lose your love. Why'd you lose me this way?
The blues. Aren't you related to Mark Bolan?
Yeah, he's it was my cousin, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely.
It was my cousin, yeah.
Fantastic.
Were you very close, Silk, you and Mark?
I wouldn't say close. Yeah. At the time, it probably my mum was very close to his dad, because his real name was Marky Feldman, and then he shortened it to Mark Feld, then Mark Bolan, but his original name was Mark Feldman. He was my mum's. His dad and my mum were first cousins, so he was my second cousin. So he was about 4 or 5 years older than me. So I saw him a lot when I was maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, but not so much once I reached 10, 12, 11, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18. I didn't see him so much then. And funny enough, after he died, a little while after he died, I was in a hotel in the West End, and I'd had a meeting with another agent, and there was loads of photographers and journalists started turning up. And I said to someone, "What are they doing here?" They said, "Oh, they're interviewing Mark Bolan's wife and his son." And his son's got a terrible name. His son's name's Roland.
So Roland, yeah.
Roland Bolan. So So I hung around for no more than 5-6 minutes. And then they came in and I went up to his wife and I said, "You've never met me. My name's Barry Silkman and I was Mark's cousin." She went, "Oh my God, Silky, the footballer." I said, "Yeah." He went, "Oh, Mark always spoke about you, never stopped talking about how you'd made it in football and how everyone was proud of you." And that was great. For me to hear that was unbelievable, TC. I didn't even know he even thought about me, let alone anything else. But
You wanted, the fascinating thing about the singers back then and the artists back then, they all wanted to be footballers, didn't they?
Everyone wanted to be a footballer.
We want to be a singer or
we wanted to be a
an
singer,
actor.
they wanted to be footballers.
Footballers, amazing.
And sadly, when he got killed, I mean, his car skidded off
on a corner, didn't it? A minute.
Yeah, and it skidded, hit the tree.
Yeah.
And no one else was hurt. He was killed. His girlfriend, nothing wrong with her, not even a scratch. It's
amazing.
like it's so sad. And people always used to say to me, "I look at it, I bet he was on a lot of drugs." And oh my God, he was like the biggest teetotaler you've ever known. Wouldn't go near him. That was just his look.
Yeah.
You know, it was a look. It didn't mean that's how he was. It was just his look.
So you know as well as I do, people just add things onto whatever it
Always,
is.
mate,
Whether it's Barry Silkman or George Best, and you know him better than I knew him because I
know him very well. We were really good friends. Yeah.
And I finished up. I mean, maybe 4 nights, but 3 nights out with George and with Bawley. He was so quietly spoken.
Unbelievable.
And I can remember us being in Tramps. It was after the cup final, not an FA Cup final, League Cup final, when we got beat by Forest. And they're all in there. Oliver Tobias, Michael Caine, Olivia Newton-John, they're all in there. And they're all big stars back then. You know, George comes in, right? And you know what Tramps were like because you go down the stairs.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Gold's club.
The dance floor's to the left.
That's right.
It's what's it right?
That's right. Yeah.
Restaurant. And George comes in, and you've never seen superstars just stop and stare.
I know.
His life was just.
I remember one day.
I could see why he drank because he didn't. He were telling me
he didn't know what to do, mate. He didn't know what to do. He really didn't know what to do. I mean, one of the only times he didn't drink a lot when we went out, he wouldn't have more than 2 drinks because I didn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to drink when I weren't drinking. And I'll never forget when we went, he phoned me one day, I was at home. He said, "Silks, we've got a party Saturday night. This is going to be the best party we've ever been to." I said, "Who is it?" He said, "Billy Connolly. It's his birthday." And Billy was a funny fucker, you know, he was a funny man. So I said, "All right, great." So we go there and there are girls everywhere. We're in a place in Manchester called Sandpipers, which was partly a club, partly a restaurant, partly a hotel.
I've been in it.
Right. So Billy had got the whole of the bar in the restaurant area. He called everything off for his party. So we're there about an hour and a half, and Billy is sweating like a pig. He's got water dripping off him. He's got this white shirt on. He looks saturated. Now, this was George when he hadn't had a drink. I've gone to George, said, "George, anything wrong with Billy?" And he went to me, "The sweating." I went, "Yeah." He said, "Go and ask him what it is." I said, "You ask him. You're better, closer friends than I am." And he said, "I'm too embarrassed." He was actually too embarrassed to ask him because if he didn't have a drink, he wouldn't even go up and have a conversation with anyone. It's really, once he had a drink, he'd open up to everyone.
Anybody.
When he didn't have a drink. So he went to me, "You go and ask him." So we have a photo taken together. The guy takes a load of photos of us by the bar. And George is going to me, because I'm on George's left. Billy's here. George is in the middle. I'm here. And George is at me. "Silk, go and ask him. Silk, go and ask him. Silk." I went, "All right, I can't hold on." So we come away. I said to him, "Billy," I said, "You feel all right?" He was saturated. He's gone to me, "I feel great. I feel great, wee man." That's what he got. "I feel great, wee man." I said, "You don't look so good." I said, "You are absolutely saturated." And he starts taking his jacket off. What's he doing? He took his jacket off. He said, "Hold this." As I took it, it's gone bang. It's hit the floor. What the fuck? I've picked it up. It had all like it was like a Levi jacket, but it had all these little shiny bits on it. What had happened was he was doing a world tour and he had to lose 2 stone in 3 weeks. So he'd gone and got this jacket made literally overnight it had lead. It was a Levi jacket, but it had lead going through it all the way round. It weighed just over 3 stone and he was wearing it everywhere and he just kept sweating and sweating and sweating. And I said to George afterwards that would be the only time I've ever met anyone who's wearing a jacket that weighs more than 3 stone. But nowadays, you tell people that story, they think they must be off their head. But people would do things like that. And George was great company, and it was so sad when he was really ill at the end. I went to the hospital, and it was so sad, mate.
I know.
Because they were only letting a couple of people in, and it was really sad. I ended up sitting downstairs and I couldn't move for 2 hours. I couldn't get myself up to drive home because to see him as I knew him and then how he went, and he went yellow, all his skin went yellow, lost a lot of weight, and it was dreadful to think of the guy that I used to hang around with and to see him like that when you don't expect it. When someone it's 80 or 85 or 90, you start to wait for it to happen, didn't you, TC? Yeah. At that age, even though he'd been drinking like a lunatic, you still don't believe that's going to happen. And he went like that. Yeah.
I mean, he was my idol, as a kid.
Well, when we were friends, he split up with his wife, Angie.
Angie, yeah.
And Angie moved in with her parents near Southend, in a place called Prittlewell near Southend, near Westcliff-on-Sea. And we started seeing each other a little bit. And George says to me, Silk, I'm so pleased that you're going out with Angie because I know you will look after her and I know she'll be safe with you. But we went out maybe for 4 or 5 months and then it ended. But he was such a lovely person. I said to him, George, I've took Angie out a couple of times. He went, Silk, I'd love you to because you'll look after her. But it didn't last more than 4 or 5 months. But he had no animosity in him. He had no jealousy in him. I mean, the only person that was really pissed off with him was Don Shanks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we go.
We're very savage.
We go to, Ravi, Don Shanks, Ravi's just training for the marathon. Yeah. So Ravi used to go out with this girl. She was Miss World. Yeah. And we had a party at Don's flat and he was with Miss World, Mary Stavin. There was Les, Billy Ocean.
Yeah.
There was Les and his wife. There was me and the girl I was with, Mandy. It was a great party. And we come downstairs and Les and I left together and give Mary a big hug. 2 weeks later, Ravi said, what a fucking he is, that bestie. Said, he's your mate. And I said, why, what's he done? He's nicked my bird. Fucking Nick Mary. He never recovered, Ravi. Do you know he never ever got married? Never got engaged. I'm telling you, he never recovered from losing that bird. Million percent.
I have never seen the blue eyes on a guy like George had. He got these.
Oh, yeah. If that was today, people think he's wearing lenses.
Yeah, they were absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
When he was at his best, he was tanned. He got the big ocean blue eyes.
Got everything.
It was a good-looking bloke. It was untrue, wasn't it?
Oh, the big problem he had. It was a big problem. He, in my opinion, knowing him how I know him, he was so shy.
Yeah,
he couldn't take the adulation. CC.
I know. I couldn't believe. I could not believe
mate.
How shy he was as a person.
No,
I could not believe it.
Really shy, mate. I used to push him into a conversation. We'd go out somewhere. I'd have to dig him in the back to have a conversation. He was just so shy. And when he had a drink, he was the opposite. But as a person, he was so shy. And that's what, in my opinion, sent him haywire. He couldn't take the adulation of people telling him how unbelievable he was. He couldn't.
You know, it's funny how people like him are really down to earth, really.
He
just
was,
want to
mate,
talk a
yeah.
normal conversation, not talk about him. He just wants to have a.
Everyone wanted to talk about him, and he wanted to talk about a bird he met last week, one he met the week before. Yeah, we went to White City Dogs one night. He wanted to talk about how we backed this dog that was about 8 lengths clear over hurdles and it fell. Yeah, called Alsha's Hobo Joe. Never forget the name. He wanted to talk about all those things, but everyone else wanted to talk about him and his ability and what was it like when you played against him. And he didn't like it, TC.
No, I know he didn't.
He didn't like it, mate. And
I think he felt embarrassed about it, didn't he?
No, absolutely. And knowing him how well, and I knew him really, really well, he just couldn't take it. And he went, I know it's an excuse, and there is no excuse for turning to alcohol the way he did, but just knowing the way he was made. I'll tell you what he was. I described him as a shy boy from Belfast that never grew up.
Yeah.
That's what he was.
I must get you to tell everyone about the great Zinedine Zidane. You must tell our fans watching and listening to all this. We've got to tell them about this.
So what happened was, I'm told about this player, Zinedine Zidane, and how good he is, and and he wanted to come to England, and he was told about me, that I had great connections, and I was doing a lot of big deals at the time, CC. Weren't earning big money, so I didn't understand how to earn big money. I was just doing big deals. So I went to watch him play. So I get there, and the guy comes up, he says to me, got a problem. He's not playing. He's had the flu, and it was a Tuesday night game. He said he's had the flu and he's on the bench. And in them days, there was one player on the bench.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So he was playing for Bordeaux. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I hope this game's shit and I have to bring him on. So I go out there. I'm going, please don't let them score, please. And I'm watching one of the players, and then there's another player catching my eye. Yeah. So half time comes. The guy comes up to me and he goes to me, he's coming on the second half. Yeah, it comes on after 15 minutes. He looked like he'd come from a different world. Yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, he's unbelievable. By the end of the game, he'd scored, he'd made goals, they'd won 3. And I go down to the dressing room. They come out afterwards, get introduced to him. I also wanted to meet the left back. So I get introduced to him, we shake hands and we go and we have a talk. And he takes me to meet the president of the club. So I go in, I said, like, how much do you want for him? So he said, we want £1.2 million and we give you back 10%. So I said, what happens if I get you more than 1.2 million? He said, we split above that 50-50. Yeah. And at that time, Kevin Keegan and I were really good friends. And we still, so he phoned up, he was on the phone to me about 5-6 months ago. I hadn't spoken to him for years. And he said, he always tells everyone, the best agent in the world, Barry Silkman. He brought me the best players ever. He never let me down. Right. So I'm thinking, right, where do I take this player? This player is so special. The only place I can think of is Newcastle. They had a brilliant team. They were top of the league. And this player, no question, could play in that team. Yeah. So I phoned Kevin up. I said to Kevin, this is beginning of January. I said to Kevin, I've seen a player. He's unbelievable. His name's Zinedine Zidane. He plays for Bordeaux. Now, at the same time, I have a conversation with a left back who signs an agreement with me. So Zinedine Zidane signs an agreement. If he comes to England, I'm his agent. That's it. I'm his agent. 2 years. Yeah. The left back, he comes to into England. I'm his agent. 2 years. At the same time, I'm introducing Zidane to Kevin. David Pleat calls me. And David Pleat's at Sheffield Wednesday. He said, Silky, you know Ben Thatcher, didn't you, at Millwall? I said, yeah. He said, what do you think of him? I said, you're looking for a left back? He said, yeah. So I've got one for you. He said, who? So I tell him. Goes away, comes back. He says he's a bit small. Never forget this. I always talk to David about this now. Goes, he's a bit small, Silk. I said, what do you want, a footballer or a basketball player? I said, Kenny Sansom was only 5'7".
I know.
He's the best left back England have ever had. Better than
I've
Ray
played against
Wilson.
Kenny a few times. Yeah.
Unbelievable player, right? So I said, David, trust me, go and buy him. He said, what's the deal? I said, 800 grand. He didn't buy him. So he thought he was too small. Player's name was Bigzanti Lizarazu. Okay.
Yeah.
Other than Roberto Carlos, probably the best left back in the world. Yeah. So I go to Kevin. So Kevin said, right, I'm sending someone to watch your player. So I call up Zidane, who only speaks English, but not great. I said to him, I'll bring you to Newcastle. I said, Silky, Newcastle. Yes, that is my place, Newcastle. Yeah. So he's obviously watched them on the telly and the whatever. So Kevin sends someone to watch the game. I will never, ever, ever, ever forget this. In them days, we had the Premier League and then Division 1. It wasn't a championship.
Yeah.
So that was the Premier League, Division 1, 2 and 3. So let's just pretend for a minute that it is the championship, okay? So he calls me, Kevin, on the Monday morning, 9 o'clock. And I'd just gone out with the dogs, come back, I had 2 German Shepherds, come back. And in them days, fax. There's no emails. Everything was on a fax. So he calls me, he said, Silky, you're going to get a fax soon, and it's going to give you the write-up on Zidane. Okay.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. More and more Americans turn to credit cards to get by. National Debt Relief is helping qualified clients reduce what they owe. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, visit nationaldebtrelief.com today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. To find out what savings you may qualify for, simply visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
Get the fax. I'm standing with the fax machine. About 20 minutes goes by. All of a sudden, the fax machine goes, starts coming out. I look at it. I will never, ever forget this. It's exactly what it said. Silky, and by the way, in the championship, first division, let's call it a championship, Wolves were bottom of the championship, okay? Yeah. They were bottom. This is the exact word. Silky has grossly over-exaggerated the player, and at best, he could play for Wolves, but I don't even think he's good enough for them. So I phoned Kevin up in the afternoon and said, Kev, who was that player? He said, it's one of the scouts I trust. I said, do me a favour. Don't trust him. Just sign him. And Kevin said, look, I can't override him, Silk. And he said, I have to tell you, I do. And to be fair to Kevin, he said, I do think you're a better judge. In fact, I think you're a far better judge. But he works for the club. We have to go on his say-so. So what I did, I phoned up a guy called Maurizio Peverali. Right? He was a scout at Juventus. And his brother-in-law, Roberto Bettiga.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was the head of Juventus. He'd gone from being a player.
Yeah.
He was now running Juventus, okay? So then I called Zidane up and I said, look, if I get you to Italy, can I still be your agent? No. He said, I have my agent for anywhere. So he signed for all territories except England. I'm the agent for England. So I phoned up anyway, and I said to Maurizio, do me a favour, go to Roberto, tell him I've seen a player, and Roberto loved me. Roberto always used to say to Maurizio, fantastic judge, if your friend Silky has a player, he tells us if he's good enough with Juve, he tells us. So I phoned him up and I said, Maurizio, there's a player I've seen at Bordeaux called Zinedine Zidane. He's unbelievable. Yeah. We're now right at the end of January. So he's and them days, the transfer window went till the end of March. Yeah. I said, he's unbelievable. So Maurizio comes back to me a few days later. He said, they know the player really well and they were so close to signing him and they're not sure what to do. But now you've said that, they're going to sign him. So they bought him for 1.2 million. They left him at Bordeaux till the end of the season. Of course, the rest was history, become the best player in the world. But do you know what they did for me, Juve? They gave my wife and I 4-week holiday every year for 4 years, anywhere in Italy, and they picked up the hotel bill.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Fantastic. But it just shows you how we recognise the technical side of players. You know, I don't know whether you got on with Tony Curran or
TC. TC, I love TC. We played together.
I know, but when you look at them players, you know, how they ruin the players' careers themselves. You know as well as I do. If you don't fall in line with what they want you to do.
Let me tell you, I always say, give everyone the same answer. People say, who's the best player you played against? No question, Glenn Hoddle. No question. And I played against some unbelievable players, but he was the best. Who's the best player I played with? And I played with some fantastic players, especially at Manchester City and Crystal Palace. Some fantastic players. Mick Shannon, Asa Hartford, Willie Donaghy, Peter Barnes, Dave Watson, Tony Booth, some fantastic players, Gary Owen, fantastic players, Kenny Sanson, unbelievable players, but the best one, TC, Tony Curran, best one I ever played with. But because of how he was, never ever he should have had 100 caps for England.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Unbelievable, isn't it? When you look at him, Frank, the best player I ever played with, and I played with some great players, John Roberts.
Robbo, great player, Robbo.
Viv Anderson at Everton, Sheeds, Andy, Reedy.
Kevin Sheedy.
Yeah.
I got Kevin Sheedy in the team. I was at Hereford and I said to the manager, I said, why are you not playing that young player? Well, he said, he's 16, Silk, he's dead. I said, let me tell you, John said it. I said, let me tell you something, John. And he hated it when I called him John. I said, let me tell you something, John. He is the best player in this club. I went, other than me, started laughing and said, I'm telling you now, put him in the team. And he put him in the team, and he was a wonderful player, Kevin Sheedy. He had great balance. What made him even better, left-footed players always stand out a bit more than right-footed, but he had wonderful balance. He had terrific vision, and he was a wonderful player, Kevin Sheedy.
The left-footed players are just unbelievable. I mean, Beckham is the one. What strikes the ball as equal as a left-footed player. All the great left-footed players. I mean, you could say Beckham strikes that ball.
Because the left-footed players look different as well, don't they? They look different.
Well, what they say is your brain's on your left-hand side and it's going straight down your left-hand side.
I agree.
You know.
I think, looking at my life, CC, I think mine must have gone through the middle.
But when I look at TC, I'll tell you a funny story about T. I told him the other week, he phoned me up. He said, what are you doing Tuesday night? I'm thinking we're going out. Never thought about the game at Sheffield United. And I've not been back there since I left him. And he said, I want to invite you down at game. And I thought, you are joking. I said, you're being serious. He said, no. I said, are you wanting people to throw stones at me? Started laughing. Anyway, I finished up going down. Who's down there is Matt Letizia and some of the Southampton, because we're playing Southampton, and obviously I played with Southampton. So it turned out a great night in a sense, and I'll tell you a story of what I tell TC about Big Jack. But Charlie George was the best of all the players I played with, and I played with him.
What a good player he was.
He played 60 minutes for England.
He didn't even look like a footballer. What a good player he was like that. Yeah. His hair was down here. He even had his thighs were only like that. What a player! Oh.
He would go in ball, and he used to whistle. You know, in training, he'd put the backspin on a ball. First time I'd ever seen backspin on a ball.
Yeah,
he'd like chip it, and he'd start whistling. The ball would come back, and I used to piss myself and laughing. Anyway, and back then, when you played with the big teams, you'd play five-a-side and have the small little
goals,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
And he'd be about 35 yards out. He wouldn't even look up. He'd had a glance before, don't get me wrong. He'd had a glance, seen where it was, and then he said crossbar, and he hit the crossbar. I played with them all. John Robertson, Bally, all of them. Charlie was the best.
Superb player.
Brave, pace, everything, every modern thing. And some of the goals he scored were unreal.
Yeah, and you know what I loved about him? And I used to love him as well and played against him as well, obviously. He'd hit a ball, hit a shot, where it come in his body, he could adjust his body and get his foot up. He wouldn't have to keep touching it to get it down. If it come that high, he'd adjust his body, get off the ground, and either that or paintbrush he was unbelievable. And whatever leg it come to, he'd adjust to shoot.
100%. He could adjust that body.
Unbelievable.
Getting your body in line with the ball will always help you with your touch.
Yeah.
But he could adjust his body to whether
unbelievable. I used to play against him, and sometimes it's a terrible thing to say, really. Yeah. You play. I remember once I played against him. He had a shot. When it come to him, and I couldn't tackle, but I was closing him down from behind. I thought, right, he has a touch here. As soon as he has that touch, I'm going to nick the ball off him. He had a shot, and it dipped over John Burridge and just dipped over the bar. And I'm on the pitch, and I've gone to him, how the fuck do you shoot there? And he thought I was taking the piss. You taking the piss? I went, no, so I was just about to nick the ball off you. It was 3 foot off the ground, and he didn't even jump. I couldn't figure out, and there was no videos then. And to this day, I often think about that shot. People say, what's the best goal scored against you? And I always say, forget about the best goal. I said, I played against Charlie George once, and he had a shot, and the ball was coming to between his belly and his chest. He didn't jump at all, but he had a shot, and it dipped, and it just landed on top of that. John Burris, he was 7-8 yards out.
Yeah.
And I said, but I don't know how he shot. They said, what do you mean? I said, well, he had to jump to shoot, but he didn't jump. And I thought I was going to nick the ball off him. And that's what he was, Charlie. He would shoot. I tell you, he was a little bit like that, but not exactly the same. Harry Kane would shoot.
Yeah.
When he don't look like he could shoot.
Yeah.
And Charlie George was like that. He'd shoot and Charlie George's vision was unbelievable.
He got every mortal thing.
Unbelievable. I mean, in this particular game, he very similar thing. He's picked up the ball on the halfway line, and he's looked through the centre, and he's gone, hit it with the outside of his right foot. I can't remember who was out wide. He's playing in clean in behind Kenny Sanson. He's just looked at the ball and done that. How did he do it?
You put the YouTube on with Real Madrid and watch Charlie. That game is unbelievable. The performance of him. I mean, people say to me, who's the best team you played for? It's not the best club I played for, but the best team I played for with Derby County.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper, good goalkeeper, but if we'd have had somebody like Schultz.
Yeah.
And I think if we'd have, and I'm not knocking the Duck, and I'll tell you the reason why in a minute.
Who was in goal there?
John Middleton were in goal. Right. Listen to this for the team. John Middleton goal, good. Always a mistake in him.
Yeah.
Right. David Langham, right back.
Yeah.
You got your bed.
David Nish, left back.
Good player, Nishi.
Unbelievable player.
Good player, Nishi. I used to love him. Yeah.
He gets injured, and we signed Buckley from Luton, 300 grand.
Yeah.
McFarland and Todd, midfield. Yeah. Daly, absolutely crackers, Jerry Daly.
Yeah.
He bet on 2 flies.
Good player, though.
Oh, great player. Great player. Daly, Masson, and Rioch.
Oh, Bruce, yeah.
Charlie.
Fucking hard boss he was as well.
Charlie, me, Jerry Ryan, and then we had
Jerry, yeah, God.
And then we signed Gordon Hill. Right. We played Christmas time at Ipswich. Right. We were up 5 o'clock. I mean, I don't drink now. I've been drinking, I never drank at football. I've drank outside of football, and I've got drunk a few times, but not a lot. But I'll drink socially. We played Ipswich. We were up 5 o'clock. We're playing shoot pontoon. Threw Jerry Daly's gear out. Back then, you could go to dry cleaners in an hour and get your all your gear cleaned, suits and shirts washed and everything. Back then, right? And that 1978 that was. We were up 5 o'clock. Grouch with a drink, with a flick on tap. They drank about 2 cases of that wine and everything. They were all pissed. Right, we beat Ipswich. We got 2 men sent off at QPR. We played with 9 men. In fact, I got sent. Don Masson got sent off at QPR. But Charlie scored the best goal I have ever seen. Right, at Ipswich, it was unbelievable, and I mean unbelievable. But going back to Tony Curry, I was telling Tony about this. We're on pitch, and obviously, we and him are talking about clubs and what's it been like playing at this club and what you played like with that manager so and so. So anyway, trainer shouts, "Come on, we've got to go in now." So it goes in.
Next time it comes around.
When it goes in, he pulls Jeff Johnson and he says to Jeff in front of everybody, he said, "Jeff, I want you, when Tony Curry gets the ball and you're near him, if it's the first minute, I want you to put him on a stretcher. I want you to go through him and put him on a stretcher." So Jeff looks at Jack and he said, "Jack," he said, "that's not a problem. But what if I get sent off in first minute and first 5 minutes? We're going to be down to 10 men, for 85 minutes." He said, "Jeff, don't worry about that." So Jeff looks at him and says, "What? Why?" Jack says, "We will miss Tony Curry more than we'll miss fucking you." And I tell you what, it set me off laughing. Everybody in the dressing room is laughing, and when you can't stop laughing. Yeah. And it sets other people laughing.
Guys, we've got to wrap it up. Chris has got to go to work. I need to worry. So we're going to have to wrap it up. It's been an absolute blast again. Just want to say, Silk, your book. Anybody that reads Silky's book, if you like Silk,
fantastic book. Fantastic.
Thank you.
You will love Silky after. I also found out that Silky worked at Charlie Cray's club and was backing vocals on Hot Chocolates. No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah, that's the one.
Legends. Silky. TC.
What a fantastic podcast this has been. Fantastic.
Thanks, TC. Thanks, mate.
Do it again.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, mate.
No, seriously, fantastic.
Thanks, TC. Just next time I see you, just don't take me on. Because I still can't tackle. Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Gab. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant.
See you guys.
Brilliant.
God bless. God
Good
bless
night.
everyone.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.
Brilliant. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bustin' with the Boys is here to let you know that every college football Saturday, FanDuel is dropping profit boosts that can turn wins into bigger wins.
Sounds like we should rename Saturday Booster Day.
Nice.
21 plus and present in select states. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.